I'd like to welcome everyone back to my YouTube channel, and we're still working on this theme of my keeper cases, and we're going to go down a little memory lane here in some of my accomplishments, things that I've proud of that happened for me during my flint knapping time on the early years. And these were all things that made me more encouraged to keep going and do my best work and keep improving. So what you're looking at right now is one of my first big accomplishments, I should say, and that was being featured on the cover of Chips magazine. Now this was a magazine put out for a few years by the Waldorfs. DC and Val Waldorf managed this really cool quarterly magazine, and I was featured in 1993 on volume 5, number 3. What you see on there are Val's drawings of my actual pieces here, and I tried to set them up as they did in the drawings on the cover. And inside they did a nice write-up about who I am, and I was 39 years old at the time when I did this. That was a while ago. I'd love to be 39 again. Some people stay 39 forever. But as you see here, I've got quite a good variety of things, and this is what I was doing. This was the best of what I could do back at that time. As you see here, it's a pretty nice dovetail here, and that was in 1991 I made that one. But I hung on to things, as you know. I got keeper cases, and this is one that I submitted. I really thought that was a pretty good dove. Next to that is a meadowwood point, and these things have to be thin to be right. And I got this one just the way I wanted it, and I was pretty happy with this one, and that's why it ended up being featured on the page. Kind of a hardened point. I've always been a fan of hardens, and this is the Genesee point that I made back in '93, and that's made out of some Texas chert. I don't think they were ever made out of it. There were similar points made in Texas that looked like this, made out of this material. But that's my Genesee point. And down here is a Jack's Reef point. Something that I found a few of, not many, but I absolutely love these. Look at this. It's just so cool the way they're notched and the way they sweep on the shoulders and the base. And I was experimenting, learning to be a good notcher. Still not a great notcher. This one was made in '92, but this is a Calf Creek version. That didn't come out really too bad. Like that one. So you see there's a good variety here. And here's a turkey tail. Now I've made better ones, but at the time this was the best I could do. And that's made out of hornstone. That's a neat one right there. Last but not least in this case is a bi-pointed blade. Always loved making these. And this is some Burlington, I believe, that I had napped and made that blade. So there's that accomplishment there in 1993. Now that wasn't my earliest. You saw my cup point in one of my early videos on my keeper cases. But what we're going to do is go next to the year 2000. And this right here was the first calendar that Derek McLean put out featuring the work of flint knappers. It's a great idea he had. And as you see, here we are being shown here. Roy Motley, Dale Cannon, Mark Bracken, DC Waldorf, Bob Thomas, Gary Murley, Steve Burns. Here's me right here. My good buddy Jim Redfern, Jim Spears, Matt Trout, and Craig Ratzett, who looks much younger in this picture, but didn't we all? So as you see, this calendar featured the best work, and we each had our own page, which was pretty cool. Look at this. This is fantastic. And that's Mark Bracken's work. I think he was living in Georgia or Florida at the time. This is DC Waldorf's work. Here's one of his daggers and some of his archaic pieces. Nice E-notches and thieves style points. Look at this great stuff here. This was by Bob Thomas. He did these eccentrics and he mastered in them. He was the month of May. Let me see what else we got here. Sometimes this has been in storage for a while, so it's kind of hard to get these pages apart. And Gary Murley did these fantastic Cahokias. I will have a Cahokia frame coming up maybe in the next video or two where I made a set of Cahokias somewhat like that. Really neat to make. This is Steve Burns. And here in the next month, if I can get these pages apart, this is my page. And these are the actual points that I made. Once again, another Jack's Reef. Love this style. And also made out of Onondaga, which I felt was the appropriate material for them. Texas material here. This is a Snyder's. This is probably right around the year 2000, in that ballpark. Real pretty turkey tail. Look at this thing. And as you see, kind of matches up pretty good with that. If I hold it right about there, it's about the same size. Beautiful dove. Some of this is Flint Ridge material. These two are. This is a great looking dove. And my E-notch. I don't make a lot of E-notches. Never been really great at it, but this one didn't come out too bad. Look at that. Almost hides it right there. And that was made out of some sunset jasper from, I think, out in California area. So I was really excited to be featured on the calendar, and I think I was on there one other time. I would have to look, but this was the only time that I remember where we were featured on our own page, and I really liked that. So I was August. If you want to see more here, I'll show you a couple more pages as we go. This is Jim Redfern's work. Look at what Jim can do. His Daltons are amazing. Aren't those something? Look at his notching. I wished I could do that. He made great looking hardens, these two here. Fantastic work. Jim Spears, somebody I've always wanted to meet, never have met him yet, but look at the fantastic work Jim does. Okay, what do we have here? This is Matt Trout. It's got the paleo theme down real well. There's some beautiful Folsoms and Clovises in here. Some great looking materials too. Look at those two. Alright, we're up to Craig Ratzett. Craig has been coming to our show that we have here in Letchworth Park, the Letchworth Nap-In, for many, many, many years. He came last year, even through the COVID times when we finally got going again. He was back. He's supplied us with great obsidian and beautiful Keokuk, all these wonderful materials here. If you ever run into Craig, he's a great guy to know. He'll tell you stories, and spend time with him. I look forward to seeing him every year. So, moving on. So, back around, let's see, what year was this? 2005. Maybe I'll move this over here so we get a little better light. Okay. There was a journal came out, and we all bought stock in this, a bunch of us. And we were featured in here with our work. This is volume number 1, January 2005. It was a Modern Lithic Artist Journal. And I was asked to submit work. And here's, let's see if I can get this page, hold it open here. Here's my page of my work that I sent in, and he photographed. And I just checked, and I still have every one of these pieces. And I happened to find a few of them that I could dig out, and I brought them along to show you in this video. These here that I'm pointing to, you've seen those in some of my keeper case videos, but for the ones you haven't seen, I brought a couple over here. Here was a knife that I had made. Oh gosh, let's see, what's that say? 1993. Pretty cool. Onondaga blade. That's actually a pine pitch bonding in there. This has really come out quite well for back then. And this is one of my famous folding flint pocket knives. And I've made these for a few years. And look at this. You can just fold them out there with one hand. And you got a nice folding flint blade knife. And I've been known for those for ever since the early 90s. And they're a great fun thing to do. And this is one of my Mayan eccentrics. What was cool about this one was there was a blemish or a little bit of a spot in the stone that featured an eye when I made this. So it couldn't have come in a more perfect spot than to be right there. So that's one that I keep on my favorite shelf in the house. And I think one of the last things I'm going to talk about, I got so many more cases to show you guys, but I wanted to show some of these things because I thought you might enjoy seeing what I had done. So let's see here. This is a book put out by John C. Whitaker, and it's American Flint Knappers. And he showed up here way back a few years ago, and I got to meet him, and we spent a day together. He went to our nap-in, and he took some pictures. And the picture you're going to see in here, I was dressed in my mountain man apparel, because I used to be really into that. And here I am, Mr. Mountain Man himself, at our nap-in. And I enjoyed doing that. That was a lot of fun. We had really fun events. And I did a lot of the mountain man thing for a few years, and now I pretty much am a flint napper. And I just wanted to share with you today some of the things that I have done over the years. Pretty happy with the way things have turned out as far as my napping. I feel I'm slowing way down. I mean, who isn't as you get older? But this series has been fun for me to produce, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am producing it. So that'll be it for this week. I'll be back next week with another one. Got a couple ideas. I'm thinking next week I might do one of two things. I might show you some of my early keeper cases where I worked with glass, johnstone, all kinds of things like that. Or I might show you my obsidian frames, and I'm kind of leaning towards the obsidian. Also have some very large pieces that I've made coming up. I think one is 18 inches long. I'll show you those. So until that time, that'll be it for now, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.